Everyone experiences moments of change in their lives, when the familiar order collapses and a sense of emptiness arises. Children grow up and leave home, marital relationships undergo transformations, but the most important thing is not to lose yourself in this whirlwind of events. Don't forget about self-love and a constant striving for self-improvement. True happiness is found by those who have learned to control themselves, their emotions, and their desires. Loneliness creeps in unnoticed when a person loses touch with themselves, their true needs and aspirations. The famous writer Paulo Coelho once remarked, "Loneliness is a strange thing." There is profound wisdom in his words. Imagine a traveler wandering alone through an unfamiliar land under a vast starry sky. They see the same constellations as at home, breathe the same air, and feel an inextricable connection with the whole world. And although there is no one nearby, they do not feel oppressive loneliness, only a quiet, peaceful love for the world around them. Paradoxically, loneliness can also befall those who are surrounded by people. They have children, spouses, friends, but deep down they feel abandoned and misunderstood. They lack attention and emotional intimacy. They cannot open up as much as they would like. It seems that no one seeks to share free time with them. No one craves their company as much as they crave communication with those who can understand and accept them. In such moments, it is especially important to remember the value of self-sufficiency and the ability to find joy in oneself. Society is engaged in an intense search for the meaning of life. Some seek support in their children, but encounter bitter disappointment when the desired emotional closeness remains unattainable. Others blame their spouses or the inexorable passage of time, convincing themselves that change is impossible. But what remains in the end? If a desperate cry is lost in the noise of a crowded room, then it is time to hear one's own inner voice. A person feels lonely primarily when they neglect their needs, do not value their time, and do not know what brings them true joy. Alone with themselves, many people realize with horror that they do not know their true selves at all. Their own interests and aspirations are alien to them. This is the starting point on the path to gaining inner freedom. To learn to listen to oneself and find happiness regardless of external attention. The sooner this process of self-discovery begins, the richer and happier life will be, especially in later years. If you cannot find the strength within yourself for happiness in solitude, then loneliness and dependence on others will become eternal companions. A person is haunted by numerous problems if they do not strive for harmony with themselves, for knowledge of their unique personality, regardless of the opinions of others. This path is complex and fascinating, but not everyone dares to take it. What awaits a woman who did not want to or was afraid to know herself? She will be haunted by constant anxiety in search of herself, as well as a tendency to blame others for her life's failures. Often you can see parents whose children have already left home trying to recreate their former closeness and control. This is reminiscent of an adult bird trying to turn its fledged chick back into a helpless baby that it once carefully fed. Such an aspiration seems to be unique to humans. What is a lonely woman looking for? Often a man with whom, as she imagines, she will blossom. However, such a shift of responsibility for one's own happiness to another person carries the danger of dependence. A woman becomes dependent on her partner or on the very idea of finding someone who will make her happy. In the absence of this person, she feels incomplete. If the relationship does not work out, if everything does not go according to plan, she tends to blame the one who once gave her warmth and love, believing that he is fully responsible for her loneliness. At the same time, she loses sight of the fact that the root of the problem lies elsewhere. She knows her past self well, but she is not familiar with her present self. Similar processes take place in the soul of her partner. He also needs to know himself from within. A person who is comfortable alone with themselves has reliable protection from mistakes and disappointments. What position does a woman gripped by the fear of loneliness find herself in before a man? The answer lies on the surface. She takes the position of a supplicant. She is driven by a single desire, to get rid of the oppressive feeling of loneliness and breathe new bright colors into her life. Is she able at this moment to look at a potential suitor impartially, asking herself if this is really the person she needs? Alas, her gaze is clouded by pain and fear, which pushes her onto a path of mistakes. That's how we sometimes choose the wrong friends, get into relationships with unsuitable partners, and even put excessive pressure on our own children, demanding more attention and warmth, inadvertently pushing them away. A person consumed by loneliness and suffering digs their own grave, for as the ancient wisdom says, "For whosoever hath, to him shall be given, and he shall have more abundance. But whosoever hath not, from him shall be taken away even that he hath." This is an immutable law of fate, recorded in ancient scriptures. So what awaits a woman who has found harmony within herself, discovered the path to self-knowledge, found a best friend in herself, and learned to find happiness within? Her gaze becomes clear and insightful, no longer allowing her to make the wrong choice of partner or befriend unpleasant people for fear of losing their favor. She will not try to keep her children close, but will give them the freedom they dream of. As a result, her children will not only love her, but also be proud of and respect her choices. Unprecedented power is unleashed in a person when they find harmony with themselves, realizing their inherent beauty and worth. Only in this state do they avoid the trap of dependence on the opinions of others and stop seeking salvation in other people, avoiding repeated disappointments. Such a person seeks to find a worthy life partner, not fearing loneliness in youth or old age. They live without fear, radiating light and joy, which in turn attracts happiness and peace. The primary task for everyone is to learn to be kind to themselves and avoid self-criticism. Every person is unique and beautiful, like a flower blooming in all its glory at any age. Therefore, it is so important to accept yourself with all your strengths and weaknesses. Self-criticism poisons everything around with negativity, while self-approval transforms life miraculously. You should stop intimidating yourself and terrorizing yourself with negative thoughts. This is the most destructive thing you can do to your life. You need to create a positive image of yourself that is satisfying, and immediately replace frightening thoughts with pleasant and inspiring ones. It is important to be generous to yourself, show compassion, and be patient in learning new positive thinking. A person should treat themselves as a beloved being, lovingly accepting their shortcomings. It is important to realize that these shortcomings were created by the person themselves to satisfy certain needs. Now that they are looking for new, positive ways to realize their desires, they can gently release themselves from old, negative patterns of behavior. It is necessary to take care of your body, paying special attention to proper nutrition and the needs of the body to maintain a high level of energy and vitality. It is important to explore different types of physical exercise and choose those that bring the greatest satisfaction. You should treat your body with love and respect, seeing it as a temple in which the spirit dwells. Look into your own eyes regularly, expressing your growing love for yourself. Looking in the mirror, forgive yourself for past mistakes and fill yourself with a sense of self-love. At least once a day, say the words, "I love you, I really love you." Sometimes it takes a long journey to realize that the most valuable thing is nearby. Often in life, we strive for new experiences and uncharted horizons, not noticing that the treasure we seek is in close proximity. Sometimes it seems that to get rid of loneliness, it is necessary to wander the world in search of new acquaintances and discoveries. However, to our surprise, we find that true happiness lies within ourselves.